Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Winds of Change, and I'm very happy today because I know that the quest today is not going to be too hard or difficult to do. It's actually a quest that's very familiar to a previous quest that we've done in The Winds of Change, and I've always kind of frowned at this because that said quest was already familiar to something that existed in, I keep wanting to say vanilla, and I keep putting off saying vanilla through all these episodes, but I'm going to start using it now. But it's a quest that was also very similar. It was kind of there in vanilla factions as well, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so we're going to speak to Agaaaaain. We're going to go into hard mode, and he says, "Thank goodness you've returned. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, it seems like the Jade Brotherhood and the Amphar are trying to capitalise on the fact that the other has been weakened by the Ministry of Purity." Yeah, see, so all this stuff that the Empire feared all those years ago about if they started to attack the gangs, the other one would begin to swell. Well, this is kind of what we're seeing. They're using this opportunity to try and put an end to their rivalry. The streets of Waijun Bazaar are being overrun. So actually this is different to what I just mentioned. This is completely left field. I don't think anyone would have ever expected the Amphar and Jade Brotherhood to have sort of come together, but I guess it's come to that. At this rate, it's only a matter of time before the Ministry of Purity comes down on them and tries to wipe them by... Do you know what I think would be a much better service to the plot of this? If we understood specifically what it was that the Jade Brotherhood and the Amphar were trying to do that the Ministry of Purity don't like. Okay, we understand them as brigands and thugs, and we understand that they terrorize people to some degree. They obviously rob houses and stuff like this, but what is it specifically that they're trying to hold on to here? Just being able to pillage buildings like this? Because that doesn't quite add up for me, that if they just want to be miscreants and against society like that they then team up so they can continue to do that, but as one organized. It's weird because when you treat them like organisations, it seems to suggest they're doing something more than like petty breaking into houses and stuff. But we never hear what that something more is. Why are all these just criminals feeling such a strong desire to band together like this? Why? I mean, do they really have to be under the guise of the Jade Brotherhood to be able to do that stuff if they're just going to be doing small-time robberies and things like that? I mean, the idea would be that being under such a large organisation like that would allow them to get away with more because they've got the protection of this gang that the Empire is too scared to go after, right? But what's that something more? Am I making any sense? I don't know. It just feels like I would have liked a bit more exposition on what exactly they're doing. Because right now all we kind of get is vague ideas of typical criminal stuff. Anyway, at this rate, it's only a matter of time before the Ministry of Purity comes down on them and tries to wipe them both out in one fell swoop. I'd say good riddance to them, but fighting on this scale, a lot of innocent people could get hurt, and the Imperial Guard doesn't have the numbers left to intervene. Oh, we don't have the numbers, we don't have the numbers. We can only rely on you, friend. This fight needs to be stopped in any way possible. Will you help? So we can say that we'll bring an end to their brawling with my superior fighting, or I'll just let them kill each other off. It's for the best. I kind of agree with that. Yeah, innocents might die, but come on. And we won't have to deal with any of this crap. Yeah, I'll bring an end to the brawling, whatever. Right. So, oh yeah, we don't even need to zone anywhere. So we're going back out into the old... Oh no, we do have to zone somewhere. Wait, what's going on? Oh yeah, no, okay, so we speak to Agaaaaain, because we go into what is an explorable area, but it's like a special instanced version of that explorable area, which is weird. They don't usually resort to doing that because the game's already instanced, but they do it here, and it's kind of cool what they go with. So Agaaaaain says, we need to put an end to the fighting before innocent lives are lost in the crossfire. Are you ready to go? I'm ready to go break up their fight. I didn't read the decline there, and I'm sure that was the first really funny decline in a while. I've been making an effort to read all of those for ages now, but I get the feeling that that a lot of them haven't been as funny as I thought they were going to be. Anyway, we come out. There's corpses on the street. People have been dying. Tom Bluewood says, it seems the Ministry of Purity beat us here. We should make our way into the Jade Brotherhood Stronghold. That's likely where the Amphar and Jade Brotherhood are doing battle. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're making the same walk along the coast to the Jade Brotherhood Stronghold. I mean... it's just, I don't know, it's just not very original. So what's going to happen here is it can be quite dangerous, this quest, but both the Ministry of Purity and the Jade Brotherhood are here, right? You can take advantage of that. You can be lazy, and if you're not in any hurry, you can just stand around and let them fight each other and then just come in and pick off who's ever's left. You can do that pretty much for the whole quest. They can be quite dangerous if you go balls to the wall in them straight away. Okay, much better. So I just cut. I may or may have not just wiped there because that was a really bad engage. But yes, very easy. If you just wait a second, as I said, and let them fight one another, you can probably wipe them out. I think it's probably a good idea on that first group, at the very least, to leave the Jade Brotherhood alone, well enough alone. I attacked them straight away, as you saw. Well, there are a hell of a lot more ministry there than there are Jade Brotherhood. So yeah, maybe let the Jade Brotherhood die first, and then try and see. I don't even think any of the ministry died on that fight. the Jade Brotherhood was so weak. But then I also think that the Ministry group I just killed maybe was supposed to split off in this direction. Here's a better example, though. You get a group will come in on you on the side, while all of those guys, the Ampharan Ministry over there, will start fighting one another. Oh yeah, they're just fighting in the streets as well. Yeah, let's just dive in, balls to the wall here. Just target Ministry as best you can. Target the Ministry. We had some dialogue, which I'll try to read and make sure that doesn't cause me to wipe. The Ministry captain says, keep pushing into the lair. I want their leaders' heads hanging from the city walls by dusk. Oh, by the way, if you keep hearing a weird blinking noise, that's my phone. It's low on battery. Sorry about that. I think we also missed another one earlier. Kill them all. Take no one alive. They aren't worth our judge's time. Every time one of these little engages happen, I believe that's when there'll be a little bit of dialogue. The quest is quite simple, though. It's, again, you could say it for all of these quests that lead up into this stronghold, except the Gox one, I think. The one with in the MOX quest line, you have to do it early. Just don't go into the Jade Brotherhood stronghold early. Just walk all the way along. It's pretty much the exact same location here as well that you need to go to. You don't walk up that path at the end and go to the tree where you fought the big golem and the last time we were doing a quest like this. But aside from that, that's it. That really is it. It's right there, and it's almost exactly the same. It's quite an easy quest as well. It's a short quest too. So, I wonder if there was anything I wanted to tell you guys. Well, I woke up this morning and found out we were... I think it's because I'm shadow stepping. I need to get Death's Charge off of my bar. It's so stupid. It's such a bad skill. I know that assassins are bad, and they're bad because of the shadow steps. Do you know what? I feel like shadow step skills in this game should... all of them should, like they've got certain mechanics in them that aren't described by the skill itself. For example, it used to be that you just shadow step in and that was fine, but now I think it also adds a half a second delay to your next physical attack or something like that, or maybe it could be a whole second delay. That's because there was a time in PvP when, and I love doing this, when assassins had a specific build they could use with assassin, Dark Prison I believe it was, or the elite version of that, and you could just go in there and just absolutely destroy a single opponent with no worries at all. So they kind of added this aftercast delay, and that's been there, and that's like an undocumented aspect to shadow steps. I feel like there should be another one that means you get, and I'm not joking here, but you get like plus 40 armor for the next 2 seconds whenever you've used a shadow step, just so that you don't get spiked out in PvE like that. I think that would be fine. By the way, plus 40 armor, if you're not familiar with the armor mechanics of this game, plus 40 armor translate to half damage from physical attacks. Armor ignoring damage obviously doesn't matter. Not physical attacks, sorry, elemental damage, it's also reduced. Armor ignoring stuff obviously isn't reduced, but I think that would be fine, and that would help a lot, but it's just not there. Anyway, so these guys are standing in a ring. You've got the Jade Brotherhood on one side, the Ampharan on the other side, and 2 bosses in the middle. Ryzen the Phoenix, who we've met before. We let him go, if you remember, he was the guy that fled. And Apep, Unending Knight, whose name I recognise, but I can't remember where from. And they are speaking. Ryzen says, the moment you stepped out of the shadows, your fate was sealed. What the Ministry of Purity began, I'm going to finish. And Apep says, so you think, but your numbers speak differently. You are weak, and your time is at an end. So they're not actually coming together, they're fighting. Stop it, both of you. Don't you see that your very actions are allowing the Ministry of Purity to vilify you? Well, it's finally nice to see you thinking for yourself. Unfortunately, things are not so quite simple as you would like to believe. This is our way of life. If we are to be villains, then let us be villains. People cannot think in shades of grey. They need something to be good or bad. They need the decision to be made for them. The people that find themselves oppressed will long for freedom, and they will be ours. This way of life is all that we know, and we will live it to the fullest. So it is that we must end our rivalry. The time has come. So you've got the 2 leaders of the Jade Brotherhood and the Ampharan fighting one another there. One's an assassin, which I really like, and one's a ritualist, which I also really like. So it's the 2 factions, professions. Oh wait, did one win? Oh, Ryzen won. Oh no, yeah, Ryzen won, which meant that Apep became allied, I suppose. And now we have to kill him as well. The idea is you're supposed to intercept them, but I was standing around reading the dialogue. So you go in, you intercept them, you kill the leader that remains. I'm actually quite surprised that Ryzen won so easily. Mind you, he's got a lot of defense. I suppose it's just a matter of how overpowered ritualists are now in comparison to assassins. I mean, assassins are still good, but they're more PvP good, I'd say. And even then, they don't necessarily match up to other professions too well. Anyway, they've both been defeated by us. We say enough! If the bloodshed doesn't stop here, it never will. And we have a point, I think. Fine words from a traitor. Was your conscience so clear when you turned on your allies? When you betrayed me, says Zairi, who's walked along from... I'm not sure where Zairi... Here he is. He's over here. So, if you remember, we fought Zairi. And Ryzen says, the Ministry of Purity, we must flee. We can't stand against them like this. and they all kind of disappear into a puff of smoke. Everybody runs away. Ampha withdraw. The battle is lost, but we will finish this, Ryzen. And Zayri says, pursue them. The Ampha and the Jade Brotherhood must not be allowed to escape. As for you, you shall be dealt with. Consider this a reprieve while we deal with a larger threat. But know that the Ministry of Purity has no love for those that meddle in the affair of Cantha. I'm from Cantha. I'm afforded this opportunity. So Zayri lets us live. Is it because he kind of likes us because he spent so much time with us? Or is it because he fears us? I don't know. It's kind of up to you to decide which one of those. I had a lot more to talk about in that mission. I mentioned that they put you into an instant version of an explorable area. They do something really weird. In Guild Wars 2, in like the initial like starting areas, or whenever you're in an instance actually, like for a story step or anything, if you walk out of the boundaries of that story step, which are marked on your map, if you walk outside of them, it says, oh, you're going the wrong way, keep walking and you'll be kicked out. Something similar happens actually there in that mission. If you walk away, it says you need to go to the Jade Brotherhood hideout, turn around, and I think if you keep walking it will teleport you back closer into the map. Kind of cool. It's very similar to, if you watch my series on the Winter's Day stuff, it's kind of similar to what they did this year on that. And don't forget that was only added this year, so it's kind of this new thing they've started doing with these more recent updates, which is quite cool. But yeah, I was going to talk about some other stuff. Like this morning, I woke up and we'd actually been on the front page of Reddit, and loads of people saw the Massart special I did. So yeah, that was really, really awesome. And yeah, we've been doing Guild Wars 2 daily for a month now, actually, which I just kind of wanted to mention. And in that month, it's just been crazy. So I just wanted to say thanks. I mean, I know most of the people that watch daily don't watch this, but I kind of consider you guys watching me now like and this is going to sound horrible, but like my real viewers, because you're more into the Guild Wars 1 lore stuff. So yeah, from me to you, thank you very much. I'm not going to bog down the Guild Wars 2 daily with sappy crap like that, but yeah, it's been pretty awesome. It's been a pretty crazy month. So anyway, we'll speak to Cowlin, and he says the Ampha and the Jade Brotherhood have both turned and fled. Something about that doesn't feel right to me, but no doubt the Ministry of Purity is going to be crowing about this as their great victory, routing the gangs from Cantha. I can only hope that this is the end of it. Eradicating the afflicted, I completely understood. The gangs, I could understand the reason behind going after them, but who else could be left for them to persecute? Maybe, just maybe, they'll have finally got what they wanted, and things can begin to settle down. Am I sounding a little too optimistic here? I hope not. I let myself get sidetracked. You should go speak with your friend, the assassin. She looked like she was up to something. Now, I'm back to worrying again. Okay, so that's kind of this arc. I didn't really emphasize that very well. That's kind of this arc done. The gangs have like been quelled, supposedly. They're still there, but they fled. They've bowed to the knee to the Ministry of Purity, and they're going to push the gangs have been eradicated. They've not completely, but this is kind of, that's the end of the Jade Brotherhood and Ampha story. They will kind of be in it later, don't worry, but that kind of section of Winds of Change is now kind of complete. We had the Afflicted, we had the Ampha, which made perfect sense. They were obviously spreading the Afflicted. We had the Jade Brotherhood, which was questionable, and now we've kind of had a bit of a series where they rebelled against that, and we've shut them down. We don't know what will happen next, but if you know anything about what happens to Cantha in the next 250 years and there's xenophobia, you might have some theories. I guess we'll find out next time and see what Miku has to say. Did she find her friend, Guardsman Jinai? I guess we'll find out. I'll see you later, guys. See you tomorrow.